We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Albert Einstein. Due to an increased need for an all-in-one hospital, the Mayo Clinic became the first hospital in the United States to encourage innovation through research and teamwork. The leadership of the Mayo Clinic continues to leave a lasting legacy as it is one of the best hospitals available and continues to draw in millions of people from around the world. During the late 19th century, the United States saw an increased flow of immigrants, advancements in technology and communication, and uproar over labor and political disputes. The Industrial Revolution made transportation more common and accessible. This made it easier for people to get to hospitals rather than the doctors coming to them. Before this, doctors were like traveling salesmen. They had to travel great distances to see patients. One of these traveling doctors was William Worrell Mayo of Rochester, Minnesota. He ran his own private practice, giving his sons an advantage in their medical education. Dr. Mayo's eldest son, William J. Mayo, once said, "We came along in medicine like farm boys do on a farm." At young ages, William and Charles would accompany Dr. Mayo to assist him with autopsies, administering anesthesia, and coagulating blood vessels. After graduating medical school, Dr. Mayo asked the boys to join his private practice. In 1883, a devastating tornado swept through Rochester, killing 24 people and seriously injuring 40. Makeshift hospitals were set up to care for immediate patients. The experience of Dr. Mayo encouraged Mother Alfred Mohs to collaborate on opening a hospital with the other sisters to care for the sick and injured. Dr. Mayo did not find the idea achievable, but with the persistence of Mother Alfred Mohs, he eventually agreed. St. Mary's Hospital finally opened in 1889. People who visited St. Mary's Hospital to watch William and Charles Mayo operate would often call it the Mayo Brothers Hospital or Mayo's Hospital. Hospitals did not always have multiple doctors of various specializations all under one roof. The Mayos changed this, being the first hospital in the nation to approach this with a teamwork effect. Gene Williams, historical consultant for the Mayo Clinic, describes the idea of integrated medicine.
The Mayo brothers invented group medicine. Instead of being an individualized, where you would go from institution to institution to try to find a cure, they were the ones who invented group medicine and are credited for that, recognizing that if you have a team with a broad base of skills, that you can serve the patient better.
At first, people looked at this approach as unconventional, but as it started to work, their acceptance skyrocketed. This advance changed the face of medicine. Helen Clapsaddle, author of The Doctor's Mayo, said that this idea of group effort is considered as the most important practical achievement in medicine. Because the Mayo brothers were quickly becoming a household name, sick and injured people would often travel long distances to see them. The original hospital building did not have enough rooms to accommodate that many patients, so they began renting new offices to use. These offices were located all around the block, intermixed among other stores. Eventually, there were no more offices available to rent, so the brothers began to build their own expansions to their current building. They crammed as much as they could into these spaces. It was chaotic and unorderly. Patients had to wait a long time, sometimes many hours, to be seen due to the lack of an appointment system. This crowding and pandemonium made the need for a new building more prominent. World War I began just as this new building was built. William and Charlie had enlisted in the Army Reserve 2 years earlier in 1912. According to Oliver H. Bears, Dr. William J. Mayo became the chairman of the Executive Committee of the General Medical Board. There were 9 other members. As leaders in medicine, each person was chosen to go to Washington, D.C. for 2 weeks at a time to give guidance and information to the Surgeon General. They soon discovered that 2 weeks was not enough time, so William and Charles each began to go for 1-month time periods while the other would stay home and run the clinic. This committee had many tasks. Oliver H. Bears wrote that they were responsible for the formation of 50 base hospital units to serve the military. They also organized men based on their eligibility into the military and when it was possible for them to serve. The success of the Mayo brothers was acknowledged by the highest office in the country when, on August 8, 1934, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt came to Rochester to honor the brothers. On that sweltering summer day, FDR told the people of Rochester, "I hope that the people of Rochester will not feel limited in their pride of possession when the nation which I have the honor to represent claims the right to call Dr. Will and Dr. Charles by the good word neighbor. You are beloved at home and abroad, and a world deeply in your debt gives you inadequate return in external honors and distinctions. But your true distinction is in the simple fact that you've put men's sense of brotherhood and interdependence into a new setting and have given it a new meaning. For 50 years, you've given tireless, skillful, and unselfish service here in this state and city. These 50 years, the span of your medical practice, have covered probably the most remarkable period in the history of science. Even then, the nation realized the significance of the Mayo Clinic and the family behind it. During this time, many doctors were receiving training at the Mayo Clinic. This education program was being run by Dr. E. Starr Judd. Around 70 people at a time were in Rochester receiving 200 hours of training. Today, the Mayo Medical School has 3 campuses, and at each they are focusing on providing medical education to advance the abilities of the physicians of the future. The substantial change in the way the Mayo operated made a quick impact on people. The Mayo Clinic's successful teamwork approach and operating system made caring for patients easier and more efficient. The clinic had a state-of-the-art communication and appointment system, making it easier and faster for the patients and doctors to find each other. The new operating and examination rooms were extremely sanitary and high-tech. This turning point in how medicine was practiced left a huge impact on the world and medicine. Dr. Leonard Berry, Distinguished Professor of Marketing at Texas A&M University and former senior scientist at the Mayo Clinic, details the significance of this impact.
It has changed medicine by demonstrating the importance of an integrated, multi-specialty medical practice in general, and by demonstrating the importance of medical teamwork.
Today, the hospital treats over 1 million people a year. It has influenced the way hospitals around the world operate. For example, the Mayo developed a numerical system for grading cancer. It has been approved by the Union for International Cancer Control and the American Joint Committee on Cancer. The highly effective treatment of using tar and ultraviolet to treat psoriasis originated at the clinic and is still present in current medical treatment. Also, in 1950, Mayo researchers were awarded a Nobel Prize for the discovery of cortisone being an anti-inflammatory steroid. The teamwork mindset that originated at the Mayo Clinic is now shared by many hospitals throughout the world. When asked why the Mayo Clinic has been so successful, CEO Dr. John Noseworthy said, "I think it all comes down to our core value, which is that the needs of the patient come first." This success is defined by various accolades, including being ranked #1 hospital in the nation by a U.S. and World News Report in 2014 and a UHC Quality Leadership Award in 2012, among others. The Mayo Clinic brand has a strong and influential presence across the globe. It's that patient focus and a relentless focus on quality. This goes all the way from the heart surgeons down to the cleaning staff, the CEO said. Beyond the quality of care, the culture established by the Mayo brothers is its most significant legacy. They did things no one else could conceive at that time. As Dr. Seltman, Marketing Division Chair Emeritus for Mayo Clinic, noted, "The Mayo brothers, obviously, were very remarkable individuals. The older brother, William Mayo, was a strong executive. He demanded a great deal of himself and others. His brother, Charles Mayo, was more of a friendly, human individual. And the two brothers had an unusual relationship in that neither of them would ever take credit for anything that was done. It was always my brother and I did such and such. So, they lived this collaborative model in which the two were greater than the sum of the parts. They had a vision for how this could work out. I don't know if they began with a vision as much as they understood it as it began to unfold." The idea of collaboration in medicine was a unique idea in the early 20th century because most physicians had the sense that they really knew everything. And they were very upset with the Mayo brothers when they talked about the importance of collaboration and people working together, that no one could know everything in medicine. It was a very strategic insight that they had. Because of this new perspective on the medical field and a drive to help patients, the Mayo Clinic has become one of the best hospitals in the world. Its teamwork approach and prioritizing of the patient's needs are only a few reasons why it has changed the face of medicine. The availability and ease of healthcare we know today is because of the leadership of the innovative family that developed the Mayo Clinic.